Loud and clear, we like to be left alone. Kids screaming, dog whining, cat on the throne. Tesco club card chaos, snacks hit the floor. The Antisocial podcast, your headphone escape. Decompress, chaos you'll adore.
Right, hello and welcome back. If this is your first time here, welcome. You found Leave Me Alone, the Antisocial podcast. This is your space, no small talk, no forced fun, no one saying, let's go out and enjoy the weather, like that's not a direct threat. Just you, me, a shared understanding that staying at home is usually the correct direction. Before we get into it, just a quick one. If you're listening and thinking, yeah, this is exactly my level of interaction, just quickly follow the podcast, subscribe. It's free and it takes 2 seconds and it genuinely helps more than you think. No big announcements, no sharing it around, just a silent follow. That's the vibe. So, if you listened to the last episode, you'll know things were already getting a bit out of hand. We had the Argos delivery driver, who may or may not exist, whispering package outside like he's on a secret mission. My wife was building furniture like she was competing for a prize. And my son managed to turn a minor gravel incident into a full emotional series. And then the ice cream man, my villain, parking outside my house like he's got my schedule. So after all that, what I should have done is stayed inside, recover, reflect, learn something. But instead, we went to a park. And I don't even think it was a proper decision. It was one of those conversations where no one commits. Should we go out? Yeah, could do. And that's it. That's how bad ideas begin. Anyway, we get there and it's calm. Too calm. Kids playing nicely, parents smiling like they've got everything under control, dogs just wandering about like they've got responsibilities. And I'm looking at it all thinking, this isn't real. So I sit down trying to relax, trying to be present. And within minutes I realise something. Kids don't see adults anymore. We're just objects. One of them runs straight into me, stops, looks at me like I'm in the way, then just carries on. No apology, nothing. Then another one uses my leg to turn. Proper hand on the knee, pivots, gone. Didn't even break stride. And I'm sat there thinking, I've become part of the park. And weirdly, that's when I thought about the Argos driver, because at least he avoided me, respected my boundaries. These kids, too comfortable. Meanwhile, my son, last week injured, emotional, dramatic. This week, completely different. Climbing, running, throwing himself into chaos. And I'm thinking, where was this energy when you touch gravel? Then the noise starts building. Slowly at first, then all at once. Kids shouting, laughing, crying. Parents doing that calm but not calm voice. Stop that, I mean it. Last warning, there's never a last warning. It just continues. And then I hear it, that jingle. And a freeze, because I know that jingle. Same one from outside my house. And I'm thinking, he's followed me. Because last time he was outside my house and now he's here. That's not coincidence. That's expansion. All the kids turned at once like pigeons. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be part of this. But my son looks at me with that face. This defines you as a parent face. So now I'm in a queue I didn't plan to be in, paying £7.50 for what is basically frozen milk and regret. So we take the ice cream and go and try and have a little picnic on the grass to try and regain some control. And for a moment, it works. It's quiet, and I start thinking, maybe we've turned a corner. Then, bang, football straight into the back of my wife's back. And after everything she built this week, she didn't deserve that. She turns slowly, gives that look, and it's enough. No shouting needed. Those people instantly understood. Fear has entered the chat. And just when I think that's the worst part of it, there's always one more thing. My son's running around again, full confidence, no fear, and I'm watching him thinking, this is going to go wrong. You can feel it. He trips, nearly recovers, and for a second I think he's saved it. But no, straight down, elbow, gravel again, same surface, different body part. And there's that pause, the buffering moment, where he hasn't decided how he feels yet. And I'm standing there thinking, please just get up. Then it hits him, the scream. Same performance as last time, same energy, like we've just restarted the episode. He's holding his arm like it's no longer attached, walking around like he's been through something serious. And I'm stood there thinking, we've already done this storyline. And of course, other parents start walking over again. Oh no, what's happened? I don't know. He fought the ground again and lost. And now it's a full-day event. Elbow hurts every 5 minutes. And I'm like, I know, I was there. But you can't say that. You just nod and repeat yourself. And that's when it hits me. There's no pattern, no logic. You just don't know if they're going to bounce up or start a documentary. And right as I'm processing all of that, I feel something on my leg. I look down and there's 2 bugs. Fine. Nature. I mean, you're outside, aren't you? That's part of the deal, apparently. You accept there might be bugs. You don't like it, but you accept it, like a bad contract you didn't read properly. Then I look closer, and that's where it changes. Because they're not just there. They're busy on me. Like I've unknowingly booked my leg out for some sort of couples retreat for insects. And I just freeze, proper freeze. Because in that moment, my brain just goes completely blank. Like I've never been outside before. Like I don't understand how the world works. Like I've only lived indoors and this is my first interaction with wildlife. And I hate bugs. Like I really hate bugs. I don't like the concept of them. I don't like the movement. And I don't like the confidence I've got for something so small. And suddenly, I'm very aware I'm outside. Like proper aware. Like I've made a huge mistake. And I do that thing where you don't know what to do, so you just sort of tense up and hope reality resets itself. But it doesn't. They're still there. Still doing whatever it is that they're doing. And I'm stuck thinking, do I move? Do I interrupt them? Do I acknowledge it? Do I just accept this is my life now? And I realise there is no correct answer, only panic. Because I don't know what the correct response is here, but my body clearly decides it's not stay calm and assess the situation. So I start flapping, just full flapping. Like I'm trying to communicate with myself in some sort of emergency sign language. I'm brushing my leg, shaking it, doing that weird half jump thing where you're not sure if you're allowed to fully commit to the panic in public. And I probably look completely insane to anyone else. Because from their point of view, I'm just a grown woman on a picnic blanket aggressively attacking my own trouser leg for no apparent reason. And the worst part is I can still feel them there. So now it's not even logic anymore. It's just survival instinct. So I'm trying to get them off me while I'm also slightly trying not to draw attention to the fact that I'm completely losing my mind over 2 bugs having the time of their lives on my shin. And I hate it. I hate outside. I hate bugs. I hate that this is where I am in my life right now and I'm still flapping, still hoping it ends. Like, eventually nature would just go, fair enough, and move on. It was at that point I realised I was completely done. Completely overstimulated. There was noise, movement, heat, bugs living their lives on me. And I'm flapping around, again thinking, Sunday is meant to be calm. So we leave, finally. And I'm thinking, home, silence, recovery. And then, of course, the tiny human falls asleep in the car, 2 hours before bedtime. So we have now entered the danger nap. And I don't even react, because I expected it. And drawing this week has been on one. Because when people say terrible twos, that's just not accurate, is it? That's like the trial version. That's before things really load in properly. This is tornado freeze. That's the actual phrase. Because now there's energy, awareness, opinions, but absolutely no breaks. And the strangest thing is, he's like 2 different children, depending on where we are. Outside the house, perfect. Like genuinely people love him. He's polite, he listens, he smiles at strangers. He'll say thank you. And people always do that thing where they go, oh, he's so well behaved, isn't he? And I just stand there thinking, yeah, of course he is. You're not the one negotiating over socks and snack timings at 6 a.m. Because the second we get home, it's like someone swaps the character out. Inside the house, completely different setting. It's like a hidden difficulty level unlocks. And I looked into it, right? Because I was generally confused. And apparently there's actually a bit of sense to it. Kids at this age are really good at something called situational behaviour. Basically, they can hold it together in new environments because they're focused, stimulated and copying social cues. But at home, that's where they release. That's where they feel safe enough to test boundaries, regulate emotions, all that development stuff, which sounds very scientific and reassuring until you translate it properly, which is they behave for everyone else and save all the chaos for you. So you end up with this weird situation where strangers think you've got this calm, polite child, and you're at home thinking, no, I'm actually in a long-term psychological experiment. Because at home, it's everything. Testing limits, ignoring instructions, emotional swings that make no sense whatsoever. 1 minute he's laughing, the next minute something tiny sets him off, and suddenly it's a full production. And I do want to say, I love him to death, genuinely, but this week especially, he's been pushing us, proper testing. Not in a dramatic bad child way, just in that relentless way where every simple task becomes slightly harder than it needs to be. And the maddest part is, he'll switch back just as quickly. 5 minutes later, he's affectionate, calm, completely fine, like nothing ever happened. So once again, you're left there thinking, am I going mad, or is this just what it is? Because apparently, according to every bit of research, it is normal. It's just development, emotional regulation, impulsive control, cause and effect learning, all happening at once. Badly, in real time, which is basically just a long way of saying nobody's in charge yet, not him, and honestly, not us either. So naturally I started crocheting, and if you listened to last week's episode, you'll remember I casually dropped that I'd taken up crochet, like I'd reinvented myself, like I'd become one of those calm people who sit in silence, make things, and has their life together in some sort of soft, organised way. Yeah, update on that. It's not really gone like that. I still do love it. I should say that up front. I genuinely do. There's something about it that I can't quite explain. When it works, when you get into that rhythm, it's actually quite nice. It's proper quiet, I'm focused, almost peaceful. But the reality of it is slightly different to how I pictured it last week, because I thought it was going to be relaxing. It is not relaxing. It's maths. It's counting. It's tension. It's undoing things you spent 20 minutes doing because you realise one stitch is out, and now your whole life feels slightly wrong. And I think last week I imagined I'd be sat there in some sort of calm glow, gently creating things like some sort of peaceful hobby person. Instead, it's me, hunched over a bit of yarn, whispering numbers to myself like I'm trying not to fail an exam. And I've committed now, that's the problem, because I've said it out loud. I've told people I crochet. So now I can't quietly give up without looking like I've been defeated by string. So I carry on. Badly, mostly. And every mistake has now become absorbed into the system. I don't really fix them properly anymore. I just adapt. I started working around errors like they're part of the design. Like I'm intentionally doing experimental crochet, which is a nice way of saying I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm sticking with it. And because of that, everything I make has basically become cat-related, because she's the only audience I've got that doesn't judge me. So she ends up with hats, little accessories, things that were meant to be other things but now live on her for a few seconds before she slowly looks at me like she's reassessing her life choices. And I do love it, I really do. Even this part of it, even the slightly chaotic bit. There's something quite nice about sitting there doing it, even if I'm not quite as calm and Pinteresty as I imagined last week. It's just calmer chaos, if that makes sense. Which is probably the best way to describe most of my life right now, to be honest. So yeah, that was the weekend. What started as a simple trip to the park somehow turned into me becoming part of the furniture, my child getting injured again, the ice cream van behaving like he's in some sort of ongoing turf war with my mental health, and I don't know what I expected. Because every time I leave the house, it's the same thing. I go out thinking it's just going to be a normal day, like normal is something that still exists. And within about 20 minutes, I'm either stressed, confused, or accidentally involved in a situation I didn't agree to. And if you've made it this far, fair play. Genuinely. Because this podcast is basically just me leaving the house, immediately regretting it, and then coming back to explain what went wrong, like it was all part of a controlled experiment. And you, still listening to it, I don't really know what that is. Curiosity, loyalty, mild concern, possibly all three, but I appreciate it either way. So before I go, just a quick reminder, follow the podcast or subscribe if you listen on YouTube. It's free and it takes 2 seconds, and it genuinely helps more than it should. It just quietly keeps this whole thing going so I can carry on making bad decisions and then reporting back like they were unavoidable. No pressure, no big emotional sales pitch, just a quiet follow from a safe distance. That's ideal. And if you're ever standing there thinking, should we go to the park? Just don't rush it, because in theory it sounds lovely, doesn't it? Fresh air, bit of exercise, bit of grass. But in reality, it's more like someone gets injured, someone gets emotional, someone sells you ice cream like it's a luxury experience in a cost of living crisis. And at some point, you're being attacked by insects you didn't even acknowledge were part of the plan. And no one ever comes back from it saying, yeah, that's really restored me. Nobody. So yeah, I'm staying in, and you should probably consider it too. Stay indoors, stay weird, and I'll catch you next time. Till then, leave me alone.
That's a wrap. You've had your fix. The Antisocial podcast. Catch the next mix. Stay chill, stay weird, and out of the crowd. We'll be back soon, talking loud.
Well, kinda loud.
La 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 la.